Good morning, Lafayette. It's good to see you. I'm your meteorologist, Brian Burden, with your forecast for June 1st. What is it, 2026? Man, the years are going by so quickly, so quickly. I hope I'm getting out there to you right now. Hopefully the stream is going out properly. I think I've got most everything set up, although I don't find it on my phone at all anywhere. So hopefully you're able to click in and get a hold of us here and talk. I see there's two different places to go to. And chat and that kind of thing. So there's chat area. It says it's going to premiere, but it doesn't show that it's on yet. So I'm wondering what's up with that, huh? What's up with that? So maybe we're on, maybe we're not this morning again. As usual, no one ever seems to know. No one knows. Upcoming podcast. Here we go. We started the streaming. And I think I'm on the air. And then I got to go and kind of check and take a look. So hopefully your weekend was pretty good. And while I ramble through this and try to see what's on, I see, there we go. We got it right there. All right. So I see that we're there, but are we talking? I do hear a voice. So I must be talking somewhere. Hello, everybody. It's great to see you. This is your wild and wacky forecaster on a Monday morning. It's Monday. Beep, beep, beep. We got the whistles, horns, stuff like that. We don't have any of that here on this show because nothing here is crazy. This is straight all weather. That is it. All right. Well, as I was saying, hopefully you had a good weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself and you were able to get out and about and do a lot of things this weekend. And what a weekend it was, right? Remember on Thursday and Friday last week, I talked to you about the weather pattern that was setting up. We were getting into a blocking ridge. You know, they call it an omega high because it kind of looks like the omega symbol sometimes. And it was similar, very similar to that, if not exactly that. But it set up pretty well. And that I told you that most days that depending on cloud cover would be dependent on our temperature. So this time of the year we should be averaging somewhere right around 79 for our high temperature, and we will probably see temperatures right at 80 to 85 with no cloud cover and 75 to 80 with cloud cover. Now, what did we see Friday? No cloud cover. We got all the way to 84. What did we see Saturday? Same thing. A mixture of clouds, but pretty much a sunny day, and we got all the way to 84. Yesterday, we saw a mixture of mostly clouds, right? Mostly clouds yesterday. We only hit 80. See how that kind of works out? It worked out pretty good. And then we had a slight risk for some showers overnight last night into the morning, of which I think the Lafayette bubble got us again, as we didn't get any of that rain, or at least most of us didn't. My ground is perfectly dry outside. I didn't see anything, and the radars aren't showing that there's any rain on top of us right now. We'll get to that in a little bit, show you where the radars are and the potential. But what I do see is after this little wave kind of goes by us here today, we're going to set right back up into that high pressure system taking over. And we are going to be the same scenario, the same thing from last week that we saw that we will see this week, which is generally temperatures with clear skies, 80 to 85, and temperatures with clouds, 75 to 80 for your highs on a given day. A lot of temperatures in the 60s in the mornings. I saw a couple days there where we might hit 40s. In the early morning hour, might be the last one for a while. We don't see a lot of 40-degree temperatures in June, July, or August. Towards the end of September, they start popping up again, sometimes early September. And we do see them early June. I remember last year we had a few days. I think we even got into the 30s 1 or 2 days last year in June. I'd have to go back and look at all the numbers. Maybe some of you can remember a day like that or two that is out there. So what do we have? Let's get to some of the maps. Let's get away from me and my ugly mug. Let me pop up the screens here for you. I believe we're actually looking at the actual Let's Talk Lafayette page again, right? I think that's what we're looking at this morning. So hopefully you're able to look at that. Let me pop it over there. I'll leave that up on my screen so I can see what I'm looking at. See how it popped in there for just a moment. And then that. And then we will go here and we will be able to see that the College of DuPage page is up. Say that as a tongue twister every morning. College of DuPage page. That's their weather page. Okay, so College of DuPage, which is in Illinois, right? They put out their own weather information. Now, it's not their own. It's the model data, which for the life of me, I can't remember where they keep all this and where the computers are, the supercomputers. Is it out in Denver, Colorado? I'm not sure on that. But then obviously that's farmed out to different places, like a lot of universities that have weather programs get the actual weather data that you have. A lot of your weather stations get it, that kind of thing. But a lot of the colleges put out their own color schemes and their own way to get the maps and make them look as they want them to look. And so I kind of honed in on College DuPage. Somebody showed it to me maybe 10 years ago now already. Maybe it's not that long. Maybe it's more like 6 or 7 years ago. But it gives me a good feel of what I can see and what I can't see. And I just kind of like the way it works. So that's what I kind of show you guys, all right? On the broad scale, looking out here, you can see that most of the eastern half of the United States is still pretty much high and dry, except for this big old bubble right in the center of it, which is still down south of St. Louis. And you can kind of see the trajectory is moving away from Lafayette. But there were also some scattered light showers in this kind of abundance of overrunning area where the clouds came through there, and there's some scattered showers there, and they've been moving to the south. Well, guess where Lafayette is? It's right in between those two, right? We're right there. So it seems like we missed out on most of the rain. If you did get some rain, pop into the chat. Maybe I'll be able to see it, and we'll be able to talk about it, and we'll be able to say, hey, what's going on with the rain? I got rain down here in, at Ray's neck of the woods where he was, all right? Maybe that's what he'll be seeing on there, but that's where we're going with that. So right now there's that big blob, that's the official name today is blob. But you can see lots of the oranges and reds and deep reds in there when it was a pretty good thunderstorm southeast of St. Louis and moving towards the southeast, it looks like right now, just based on this quick look at the satellite picture. Now we're in between the two areas right now. This one's drying and falling apart because the high is trying to reset itself back up and push a lot of the weather out of the area again today. And then I've seen a couple models say that we'll get some of this stringy stuff, this stuff off to our north here, coming through for the next day or so, and then it clears back out. And then I've seen one that kind of clears us right back out, where we don't have a chance for any rain. And I know we need the rain. I know a lot of us want to get activities done, and it's fun. And I mean, like the church has a big week going on this week with the kids coming in and Hero Day there. And they're going to have a lot of fun with that. And it's going to be a really great week there at church for the kids. So stuff like that's going on. A lot of VBSs around town. A lot of summer activity is really going strong now. And some of you have gone off on vacations already and come back. And so it's really one of those kind of things where everybody's getting into the summer for the next few months. I kind of looked at some of the numbers. I wanted to get my specifics. I was trying to pull things out of my memory from like when is the actual high temperature for the max temperature generally in Lafayette. And it's basically about June 15th we'll call it June 20th to June 30th, all right? Somewhere right in that range there, where it peaks actually somewhere around that time frame is where you'll see that. July 14th to July 23rd. See, if I didn't write it down, I would forget it, and I would tell you the wrong information on that. So that's the hottest time frame, is during that time frame, 14th to the 23rd. So if you split the difference right down the middle there, you would get somewhere around the 19th or 20th, 21st of July is where the peak of the heat is. I know June 21st is coming up, the summer solstice, right? Longest day of the year. You would think to yourself, oh, that's the hottest day. But weather doesn't work like that. It's kind of like a lag. There's a lag. So we get June 21st as the peak, but then the warmest is a month later or so. What happens in the winter? December 21st, right around there, right? The winter solstice hits, and what happens to us? You would think you get the coldest weather then, right? But no, on average, it's about a month later. So there's always this lag of peak temperatures and peak cold during the years. If you go over in history, that's when it is. All right, so that means basically the latter third of July and the latter third of January are your hottest and coldest months, respectively there. So on that front, sorry, I ran through that real fast, but it came through my mind, and I wanted to tell you what was going on with it. All right, so here, we've seen the clouds. We've seen what it is. Let's go to the visual real quick so we can get a good look. Look at the bubbly tops on this. See how right there, you can see the bubbling going through there, kind of like water coming up through a puddle somewhere. You've seen that probably coming up, when you see these little bubbles. Well, that's what thunderstorms do, because they shoot through the tops of the cirrus, and at some point they usually get above it, especially your strongest storms. Sometimes the weakest storms don't. And then when I look back up at this batch, I see there's a little bit of significance with some of the showers right in here. You can see it's a bit thicker and stronger there. That's heading right towards Fort Wayne, it looks like right now, at least on this front. Let's go on a little closer, see if we can see Indiana a little easier. Pick that out. You can see those showers right there probably with this. Now, I'll pop the radar on here and we'll be able to see it here in a second. But there's that, and then you see the bubbling right there. See how all this bubbling going through right in that spot southeast of St. Louis. Let's hit that sector and come back up closer to Lafayette. Here we go. There we go. And then let's throw the radar on top of that, all right? So there you go. There's your scattered showers, Lafayette right here. Hey, where's Lafayette's rain? Nothing. There's the bubble. Got us again. Okay, I saw charts this weekend that said Indianapolis has had its 7th rainiest spring on record. And I'm thinking to myself, we have had like the 7th driest on record probably here in Lafayette. We haven't been getting any of the rain. But remember a month or so ago, there was this week or so that like everything from basically Champaign down to Terre Haute and over to Indianapolis, all the rain was running right through there. Right in that section, right through there. Missed us and kept missing us and missing us. And a few of you on the southern portion of the county got into a little bit of that rain, but most of us did not. So it stayed very dry here in Tippecanoe County and north of here especially too. Just that little bubble of where we could use some rain. And a lot of the southern Great Lakes has been pretty dry. That would be, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, all of Michigan, into northern Ohio. A lot of them have been very dry, just like we have been. But Indianapolis, one of those kind of spots that's the 7th or 8th wettest they had on record. And they've been keeping records in Indianapolis since like 1850, give or take. Now, what you do notice on there, for those of you climate change folks, is there were only like 3 dates on there after like 1950. Or 1960, somewhere in there. So of the top 10, only 3 of them were the wettest. So you can see what's going on. That's not climate change. Climate change is going to have more rain, more moisture, more heat, right, involved with it. But that's not what's actually happening. And they're having a harder time keeping up the ruse of how they think climate change is happening. The word climate change is easy to get around. All you got to say is it's 1 degree warmer. That's climate change. And look at that, see, and that's not really what's happening. We're just seeing ups and downs in different places. I could get on that for hours on end about the climate change and how they've tried to suck money out of all of us for that. And I'm not a conspiratorial theorist, is that what it is? But it's pretty easy to see what happens in the world when your scientists get overtaken by politicians, because you get more money for your studies, and your studies are important. I definitely expect that. But if you don't come back with anything, no one's going to give you any more money. So you might tweak that number up a little bit so you can come back next year, right? That's the kind of thing that works out. That's what I actually saw with my own eyes when I was in the Antarctic program. I saw scientists that sure seemed like that's what they were doing. All right, so for us, back to this. Rain, big old blotch. What are we calling it? Blob today. The blob is down to the south of us, and you can see the thunderstorms are heading that direction too. Let's go in one more sector closer, because I want to look at some of the clouds too. Okay, so there's the rain. Look at this. Is this picking up the wind farms? Sure is. Look at that. Picking up all the wind farms. Just the angles are just right to pick up the wind farms off to our northwest. And that's what the radar is doing, all right? When you get the right angle, and you got to have a really low angle. Believe it or not, when they set a radar up, they set it up at like half a degree to look towards the horizon, all right? But when you get 75 miles out, that's way up into the atmosphere, right? So the farther out you get from the radar, the less accurate it get. But sometimes the atmosphere itself will create where they can bounce off of things on the ground. And sure enough, you can see the wind farms pretty easily up here to our northwest today. All right, let's change it over to the satellite, though, again, real quick here. We'll leave the infrared on there real fast. We'll see Lafayette right about here. And we're seeing some high wispy clouds come off of that, but that's not rain associated with the thunderstorms to the south. It's just some clouds. And then we can see that there's some of that to the north. We pop the radar back on there, and you can see that is again where it is, so you know where we're talking about again with this. Here's the infrared there, and then there's the I would call these mini little buildups, but they didn't have much to them at all. I don't even think they had thunder with them, and then the thunderstorms and showers are down to our south. So let's get into the models. Let's take a look at this. What are we talking about today? All right, here we are on Monday. There's the scattered light showers. They show them right there. Here's the blob. Now, this is what it showed early this morning. Let me get onto the right time frame. There we go. This is 10 o'clock, so within about 45 minutes of now. And it shows the big blob to the south east of St. Louis. I would say it's about an hour behind schedule right now. Because here we are here. There's where it was. That would have been 15 minutes ago. And it's already looks like that. So it's just a hair behind time-wise, which all that tells you is this is moving 3 miles an hour faster than what the model thought. That's it. Okay, excuse me. Man. Okay, so there you go. You've got the other rains running to the north, and watch this. They kind of run there, they fall apart, and then there's just enough clouds to bring in a little light shower potential right there. Maybe tonight at 8 o'clock, maybe a little light shower in the local area comes along the tinge. I think your first chances are around 4 with that, but there's not much there. There's no intensity, right? You don't see any of the dark greens in there like you see. Like these are little pop-up thunderstorm potential right here, or a heavy shower. This is just a very light shower. Maybe not much of it's getting to the ground. And that's what your potential is for today, all right? And then it dries up overnight, and what do you see? We see the notorious, I call them the notorious, isobars starting to come back down. Look at this. Here they are. What's that mean? That means there's a high right up here, all right? And that high is going to settle itself back in over the Great Lakes, and it's going to create a block where our weather starts to go this way again, and then or goes this way, south of us, right? It's not going to be able to get through it. It'll run into a wall, and that wall lasted this time for 3 days, and then it allowed some rain to get through it, right? And still, the vast majority of the rain stayed this side of the line the last few days, right? Except for that little streak of stuff that's gone this way. All right. So you can see it already. This is Tuesday morning at like 1 in the morning. All right. And the high is already setting itself up right there. So hopefully you're able to see that pretty well on there. And then as you go through on charts, just go through hours, here it goes. It just builds in stronger and stronger. Where's the rain? Rain's like it's running into stuff way out here in Kansas, and it's falling apart. Watch as it moves towards us. Look at that. Just dries up, falls apart. And now you can see they're ridging from the high. So the high is like just off the chart right there, all right? But there's ridging from the high that goes like this, maybe even like this if you wanted to get real sporadic and you have a big high day with the ridges and you want to show all kinds of ridging. But generally, the ridging is focusing out in this direction towards the southwest, right? And the high is up over here. And what's it doing? Now the line right now is like this, where all your rain is over here, right? And that's my little shot at a rain shower. If you know the symbol, that's pretty close. And we're going to be high and dry, and we're going to have just lots of little sunshine around here. Little bunny rabbits, that kind of thing. It'll look nice. All right, so that's what it looks like going into Wednesday. There you go. There's Wednesday at 2 in the morning, all right? And the high now it's kind of right there. It may be a little bit farther off over here, or maybe double-barreled, and there's another high just off the chart there. But I'm kind of just focusing on the Midwest right now. Okay, so there's your her early on. I already told you what I thought temperatures were going to do, right? Days with clouds, 75 to 80. Days without clouds, 80 to 85. And why won't we get any warmer? Because the winds are always coming from this way. Right? They're always coming from the east. They're not coming from the hot source, which is our southwest or even to our south. They're coming from the east, and that's where you're going to see most of that. All right? So that's what we're talking about on that and for those fronts with that. All right? Hey, good to see you, Ray. I popped in on the chart there. There's Ray on the side there. I threw him on there so we could all see him, and we talk about that. Ray, good morning to you, brother. Hope you're having a great day. It was great to see you at church yesterday. Ray, one of my buds here in Lafayette, and one of my close friends. I can call him about anything, and he will come a-running if I need him, and I will come a-running if he needs me. So that's the way things work out. And then I got other buds that live in different places, and I can just call them. And they watch once in a while, too. That's great. I love to see that. All right, so Ray's in there. Good morning, Ray. Nice to talk with you this morning. Now let me get out of here and get back to where I was. Okay, so there's the forecast model of everything. And now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, we were talking about what was going to happen because the winds are out of the east, right? So let's throw the temperatures on here just so that we can look at really, well, the temperature itself, but look at the big picture of the temperature and where we're at. So let's go to the high for today. Okay, the high should be around 21 Z. There you go. 19Z, it's showing a high of like 79 to near 80 with us, right? I see some really warm air right in here. In this area, and so it might be more open there. Here, remember we were talking about the high clouds and maybe just a slight risk of that rain. Well, what happens? That right now that the high clouds are here, but the high is making them drift slightly this direction, right? So by this afternoon, when we're at our hottest, that bank of clouds is right here now, and it's coming closer to Lafayette like this. Right? And you noticed it's cooler in those areas right there, and we're right on the edge of that. And then as you go through a couple hours, when we would normally peak around 20 to 21 Z, it's actually dropping because of the cloud cover coming over. So I don't know if we'll get back down to 73, but it's still, so you're looking at a high of around 80 again today, right? Because there's too much cloud cover. Now let's see what happens tomorrow. Okay, so then we see a decent warm morning tomorrow morning. I mean, 52 is below normal. It should be about 56, but it's not that far off at all, really, if you think about it. Now, what's the high for tomorrow? Here we are climbing back up to 79. We see a little pocket of warmth, but it's not as warm as it was. And why is that? Well, look at all these winds. Look at all these winds coming this direction, right? Even the model's picking up that it should not be as cold, right? And the pocket where there's sunshine, it's saying 80 to 85 in this entire pocket where there's lots of sunshine. So tomorrow, maybe we get the sunshine out of here. Sorry for scratching, guys. And we get it out of here and we get a little warmer. Just depends on the timing on the actual clearing of the clouds tonight and tomorrow, right? And as that clears out, it still shows us going up to 79. So that makes me think that there'll be still enough cloud cover to keep us from there. But if it opens up tomorrow, bam, 80 to 85, that's where we're going to be, all right, with these easterly winds and these northeasterly winds. And that continues as you go on, dropping off. It stays pretty warm overnight on Wednesday. There we go, out to 58. Let's extend it out there with the NAM Nest. NAM Nest says maybe 50, 49, 46 even on Wednesday morning potentially there for us. Remember I said that could be our last day of 40s? I think there was one more farther out. We'll take a look at it a little bit. But we'll look at our winds, though. You can pinpoint the highs pretty well, too, easily, right? So you see there's a flow here, 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 right? What am I seeing? A pinwheeling away from the center or where the high pressure system is, right? And that's basically right about here if you look at the winds. If you look at the isobars, that's your isobar right there, all right? So that's what you're seeing. And I also see a ridge coming right through here, and I see ridging going out the other direction too. Now we're blocking anything from moving in any direction the stronger this high gets. And our temperature drops off pretty cold there on Wednesday morning, like 40 in the 40s. Okay, so there's another day in the 40s potential. What's it say for warms on the NAM here? So the NAM says everybody's only going to be about 75 to 76 on Wednesday. But again, this is going to not taking in consideration how much cloud cover we have as comparatively as you and I look at it on a daily basis, and me as a forecaster looks at it, all right? So there's the temperature potential on that. So now let's stick the GFS on there, and we go farther out, and the GFS lately has been colder, right? And it's not been even close on its temperatures. It shows the trends really well, but it's not been hitting the numbers really well. So like here's a 78 on Thursday to 80's pretty close to us. I would think we're probably going to hit 80 that day pretty easily. And then we'll have to see. Now we're starting to turn our flow back around for a little bit. The high lets up a little bit, allows a little warmth in for a while, and then you can kind of see it starting to build off to our west especially, it looks like at this point. And then as you get into Friday, now we're at the 80 to 85 mark again. We've got a southwesterly flow. I see a mixture of some clouds in here where there's a cooler temperatures, right? So there's a mixture of clouds off and on. Big pocket of 90s out here in Kansas, right, for those folks that are out there. Big pocket out there. Everybody else very comfortable, very nice. We're enjoying our weather. We get through Friday, and then we get to Saturday, and Saturday is probably the next best chance for rain in our forecast, and it still tries to push our temperature up to like 79 during the day, right? Still tries to get us warm. You see how the kind of diamond trying to push through, get through there, but the low is right here, and then the cold front extends back to here, and not like this is real cold weather, but it's colder, and I'm sure there's showers and some stuff with that. Let's change it to the showers real quick and see what it looks like. Let's go precipitation, winter precipitation type, and sure enough, look at there's a system over us on Saturday. But look at this up to that. See that? Nothing's there. Here we are. We're getting out of the mix right away tomorrow. No rain, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain. Here we are Thursday. Now we're pushing to Friday, and the high has shifted a little bit more down here. We're starting to get that southwesterly flow, but everything's going around us, at least on Thursday and Friday, to the north. Then the high shifts down far enough south. It's going to allow this low to get into the area. The question is will this low give way enough to break down the high and we get back to rain every 2 or 3 days? Well, right now it just says rain Friday night into Saturday, and then look at another high appears to start setting itself up here to the north by Monday next week again. And then it's there. I see it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, we're into Thursday there. All I see is there's a high. The high is right here now. It's only shifted from up here to here in like 4 days. All right, that's all it's done in those 4 days is shift, and it's keeping at bay all the showers out here to our west. And then we get to Friday next week, and then Saturday. Now I would think Friday and Saturday are starting to turn pretty warm with that southwesterly flow kicking in, but it's keeping all the rain up here now, right? Instead of the line being here and all the rain over here, now the line is here and all the rain is up in here somewhere. And we're kind of high and dry. But Saturday, we start to break it down a little bit. It looks very weak as a frontal system right now. It doesn't look like much at all. Maybe a scattered shower or two. Now, this is 2 weeks, remember, away. Saturday, Sunday, next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. June 14th and, 13th, 14th, and 15th in there. Maybe a slight chance for some rain. And then what I don't see for a couple days is the high setting up again. There might be something way up there, but I do see the southwest flow a little bit more. This is more seasonable, so maybe by the middle of the month we're back to more seasonable. And by like June 20th, the temperature should be about 85 for your high and your low's like 62. And we stay in the mid 80s, and then we just bump to 86, 87 right there in the middle to latter portions of July. But we stay around 85 for a high just about every day. On average, that's the averages. That doesn't mean that's exactly what this is saying. But let's go back and see where those temperatures are. Let's see, here's the Saturday, right? So it was cool. I just saw my wife text my grandson, good morning, so love you. All right, that's awesome. All right, so here we go. Here's Friday. Now let's switch it over to temperatures so we can see what's going on here. And we knew the system's coming in on Saturday into Sunday, right? So let's see what it has. Saturday, it still shows us, or this is Friday, getting to 80 at least. Here's the little triangle look, right, for Saturday, where the warmth is trying to get here, but we're kind of cut off by the rain coming down, all right? So then we move on. Sunday's a little cooler. It only shows us in the mid-70s. Then we start to climb back into the 70s, and watch how that flow is still, again, out of the east by Monday and Tuesday next week. And it's the same kind of thing, 75 to 80, 75 to 80, 80 to 85 when there's no clouds. And then we finally, by Thursday, June 11th, we start to shift around to the south, and we're getting a flow from the south now a little bit more. And there is warmth down here, right? And it's going to start pulling that towards us. And so by, let's see what the next hour shows there. Look at that, 84, 85. That day actually shows it. This day, Thursday, we're talking June 11th next week, we might be 85 to 90 by this time frame because now we have a southerly flow. But the flow isn't as strong like it is out here. Look at where Kansas and Nebraska are. 105 degrees in Nebraska next week, right? We're not in that flow strong enough yet. But is the high going to break down enough to let some of this come towards us? It'll modify before it ever gets to us, but is there potential on that? And let's see what it says. It does definitely go south. Westerly on us pretty good by next Friday, June 12th. And look at that. All the flow is right here. And there's a big pocket of upper 80s and lower 90s that it shows in here. As a matter of fact, it shows 97 in a portion of Missouri there next Friday, June 12th. And for us, it shows 88. And I see spots, so that's some of that spotty rain in places as the day goes on that Friday. All right, and then the following Saturday, the next day, maybe we see our first 90 of the year. Saturday, June 13th. All right, first 90 of the year. Look at that, 91 in Lafayette is what it says. I would bump my temperature up a couple degrees here to like 93 potentially. So is the first one, and it peaks us out at 91. The day before, where we get to 88. That June 12th, Friday, next Friday, could be our first 90-degree day. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. June 12th, next Friday, right? 90, first day, we'll see. All right, there we go. One of those two or 3 days, June 12th, 13th, 14th, and our first 90 of the year possibly. And then you go back out farther, and you see lots of upper 80s and 90s. There's Saturday. What's Sunday show? We know there's some kind of rain that went through, but look at this. We're back into the 90s again, so it does show a very hot stretch. 92 in Lafayette with a pocket above 92, above 95 right near us, right? And why does it get warmer up in some of these spots here? Well, you have open ground in a lot of these areas, and when the sun can beat on the ground in the fields, it warms everything up a lot more. So you can see that at times, and that's what we're going to be getting. And we have now, at this point, by Monday, June 15th, we've had a southwest or southerly flow for about 5 days to 7 days, and we're getting, look at this, man, we're getting, oh, I hit the wrong button. Hit the wrong button, boy. Is it right here? There it is. All right, we just need to get rid of that one. What is that one? Oh, the sounding came up for that time frame. I'll explain the sounding sometime to you guys. We'll get through that too. But look at that, 90s there, June 15th. That's Monday, the following Monday. So very warm, very, very warm weather setting up 2 weeks from now. We'll call it about 10 days out, but June 12th, maybe the first day we actually hit 90, all right? So there you go, at least temperature-wise, and you saw where the clouds were. Yeah, that's the one thing you got to look at is what are the clouds going to be doing during that time frame, and how are we going to be affected by that? And if I go to precipitation, I can get average cloud cover. And here we are now. We're back here, right? So it shows our blob of a thunderstorm to our south. It shows all the high clouds to the north of us right now. It doesn't show much over us. It shows us kind of some clearing in there, and then it kind of shows the day. But then it shows that little bit of stuff coming through tonight where we could just catch the edge of that and maybe get a rain shower out of it. But then we clear out. There's tomorrow. Tuesday's clear, so expect warmer. Expect 80 to 85, right? Even though the wind's out of the due east. If the skies are open, it's crystal clear like that all day tomorrow, boom, be looking good. Same thing on Wednesday, looks pretty good. Does show some high clouds coming over us Wednesday, so that could knock us down a degree or two. All right, then here we are Wednesday and Thursday. Now we're picking up clouds, but we've changed our flow to the southwest, and we're starting to see that our temperatures still go up, right? And then that front goes through. Then we set ourselves back up, and here we go. By the Sunday into Monday, we start to see less cloud cover over us. Here's Lafayette again right there. And the clouds kind of clear out, and we warm ourselves back up as we go into next week. And then here we are by Tuesday, Wednesday. We've had open skies for 2 or 3 days now by the time we get to Wednesday next week, June 10th. And then by the 11th and 12th, still not much. There's nothing there on the 11th, really. Look at that. A lot of it goes around us. Okay, and misses us. We're not getting any rain out of that mix either, are we? So there we have a lot of open skies, not a lot of rain, and then we have a tendency to get pretty warm. Here's the one thing: when I see little scattered spots like this, and we start to get warm, anytime we get above 85, generally speaking, it may be hot enough for the heat of the day type of summer thunderstorms to pick up in different places. And it doesn't take much. Just a bump in the isobar somewhere sometimes will pick up some moisture, and that'll be enough to pop up some thunderstorms. So that's what I would see here. By the time we get to the middle of next week, we may be like full-bore summer type weather with hot weather and the potential, hot muggy weather with the potential for a thunderstorm here or there popping just about every day. All right, here's next Sunday, Monday into June 15th. Again, more skies opening up, not much for cloud cover, lots of spotty thunderstorm activity more than anything else probably on that front. All right, so let's see what else we've got in here. Let's see. Fog. Are we going to have a problem with fog anytime soon? I'm going to zoom in on the closer map here, and then I'll probably come back to some temperatures for us too. And let's go out. Anything, we know it's going to be pretty chilly the next couple mornings, so there could be some fog. Now that's the rain shower going through, right? On Saturday that goes through. But I don't see anything big popping up on me that says we're going to lose visibilities anywhere with any of these mornings. And our temperatures after these next couple days being in potentially having upper 40s, lower 50s for temps is pretty warm in the morning. So there's no real chance for fog here, it looks like. Let's see if the HRSA sees anything in the next couple days for fog. It's a little more detailed for the next couple of days, right? So there we go. No, nothing. Not showing anything for fog. So let's look at their temperatures. What does the HRSA say for today? Well, the HRSA says today we're going to get up to 80, right? 79 right there, maybe 80. See how now the triangle trying to nose its way out is towards us, behind the little low with the clouds, and the clouds hanging on right in here, right? Right there's your clouds, and that could be close enough to us to bug us for a time frame. All right, so that's what you're going to see, at least on that front. Now, what does it do tomorrow morning? What does the HRSA think it's going to do tomorrow morning? And here we are going overnight. Let's go tomorrow morning. About 11, 12 Z is usually when we bottom out right now, and it shows 53. Remember, the GFS said 48, right? Something like that for tomorrow morning and the next day. But this is showing much warmer. And then it's not quite warm enough in the afternoons. If we open up the sunshine tomorrow, it does show 80s real close. You can kind of see that it's the same kind of scenario. You've got all this east wind coming this direction, and you've got temperatures trying to ease their way towards us, but they can't do it. It's just open skies. But I think tomorrow will be an 80 to 85 day if we open up like this is looking like it wants to. And then what is it? It goes out to like 6 and 2 in the morning. It's at 56 degrees on Wednesday morning. So that's probably headed for a very similar lower 50s to upper 40s temperature at that time frame. But the HRSA doesn't go out any farther. Let's see what the NAMNEST says on that. What did it do with it? It shows 56 with a 51 pretty close to us, and then bottoms us out at right around 51 actual number, but you can see upper 40s are real close to us Wednesday morning, 10, 11 right there. There you go. And then it warms us back up. On Wednesday during the day, it's already into the upper 70s by 2 o'clock. So another warm day on tap there, and it's showing more of an easterly wind by that time frame, right? And then it curves around to our northwest. So that's what you're seeing totally, at least on the charts that we're seeing right now and close in time frames and the temperatures and what we're looking at. Let's see if the new HRSA is in. Let me go see this here real quick. Let's check out the run. The 12Z is in. It's about 79% in, so let's go take a look at the temperatures, what it thinks now. Now that it's had more information ingested into it, what it thinks. Well, it sees this morning at 69. What are we right now? Right now we are at 70 degrees, so not bad. We're a degree off. Our winds are out of the east-northeast at 8 miles an hour. That's the exact direction to keep saying we should be getting, right? Says on here, a high of 77. And tomorrow 78, and then it shows the warm-up later, like Friday and Saturday getting warmer. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But, wrong shot. There we go. Back to this one. Let's see what it says for our high today on the HER, though. All right. And the HER only shows us at around 75 or 76. I still don't think I believe that at all. But that's probably saying that it's got a better chance for the rain and the clouds to stay right on top of us. All right, so that gets us to the 75 to 80 mark, right? We hit that right there, and we have the chance of that rain. Just that isolated chance. It's mostly clouds is what we're worried about. And you can see how it knocks it down all along a line like this, and we happen to be just in the cloudy side of that. The non-cloudy side is into the low to mid 80s right here, all the way out to the Mississippi River right there. I don't know if Pastor Bill and his family got in last night or not, or if they're coming across today because they were over in Joplin yesterday. They'll be running through a lot of this as they go through the day. Hopefully they didn't get into the nasty thunderstorm this morning. All right, we move forward. What do we see tomorrow morning on this? Is saying 54 is what I see there. And not nearly as cold, it seems like, for tomorrow morning. So not bad there. And then it goes for a high tomorrow. Right at 80 again, same kind of look. Everything is kind of being forced like this. We're being squeezed because of the northeast wind. So this looks very similar to the previous model. And then it goes out to Wednesday morning. Does it get that far out? It's not that far out yet. The model goes 48 hours. We'll be able to see the low for tomorrow in about 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Comes pretty quick when it comes through on those. All right, let's go back and look at the satellite and the radar real fast. We'll hit it. There's your satellite showing an abundance of clouds over the area right now, but most of these are high clouds knocking just down the temperature a little bit, not doing much else. There is some rain mixed in, of course, to our northeast right now, and this doesn't look like there's any way it's going to pull a shower down to us by later this afternoon into this evening, but it is going to pull the clouds down to us. So let's look just to the northeast of us there, up off the Chicago radar. See, there's just not a lot back there. It's this back here. It says may sag down to Lafayette, and as it falls apart, maybe bring a light shower this evening. So put it at 10 to 20% chance at best. There's not much there with that at all. All right, at least on that front. And then we go back in and we'll see it. There we go. All right. And the big thunderstorm complex is down towards St. Louis heading away. We are in between as usual. It seems like we seem to miss out on most of that. Let's take a look around the area real quick. We didn't get a chance to do that this morning. How's the traffic cameras doing this morning? Well, the first thing we have to do is go out to Fowler and get a car check. Zero. I haven't added these up, but the rough estimate is 1. We see 1 card on this highway every day that we come in on average. There's been just as many days with zeros as there has been with 2s, and most days we just see 1 car at best. Okay, we can see the high clouds. We see a mixture. I can see plenty of darks and lights in here, so that looks pretty good on that front. That's what we're seeing way out in Fowler. Let's go up north towards Rensselaer, see what we got on charts up there. Let's go back to see if they got the construction one down. Yeah, they do. They got it going today. It looks like it's running pretty smooth through the construction area up near Rensselaer. See some clouds on the horizon there pretty easily. Same thing, darks and lights. You got a mixture of some higher clouds there. This camera, man, I wish they'd point it up just a little bit more. I know you've heard me complain, but we do see some of the clouds that you can see in the sky there too. All of these are a mixture of mid-deck and higher clouds. I'm not seeing any real low clouds jumping out at me anywhere on here. Here's 231 where it runs in to 65 on the southern side. Right there it is. Not seeing any wet pavement anywhere either. Like nobody got any showers, it looks like at this point. Here we are at State Road 18 looking out. They pointed it up pretty good. Got a great view of the interstate, but you also got a great view of the high clouds. Looks like there's a mid-deck right in here, some more mid-deck there and here, and then you got some higher clouds above that, and you got some cirrus way up on the top. And then way off in the distance, there's more of the mid-deck. When I say mid-deck, it's roughly 6,500 feet to like 16,500 feet, right? That's what we consider mid-clouds in the weather world. Below 6,500 feet is considered low clouds. And there's an overrun between the two. And then when you get above 16.5, that's your high clouds. That's your cirrus clouds usually. So usually mid and high clouds don't bring you anything for rain. And that's what we're seeing all the days. Lots and lots of mid clouds out there. All right, so where are we here? We're State Road 43. They actually got a pretty good picture looking back towards the north a little bit. This would probably be northwest that they're looking at on that picture. And then here's State Road 25, which looks back to 43. And the due north is like right about here, so that's about northwest. And same thing, you can see some of the mid-deck in the pictures, and you can see some of the higher clouds above it. Same with the State Road 26. Very nice picture. Lots of mid-deck right in here. Very easily seen, and you can see patches of it like right there, some more off on the horizon a little bit farther. I don't see any real low clouds in there, and then everything else in that picture is pretty much high clouds. All right, and then you get down to State Road 38. Now we're looking back the other direction, and we see blue sky, right? Yeah, we see some blue sky right there. Bam! So we're seeing some there. We see some more sunshine on the ground there, but we still see mid-deck out on the horizon, right, over here, back down to the south, and then a lot of this up here is high clouds. All right, so that's what you're seeing on that front. Let's go farther south. Frankfurt. These look a little damper today than the last Friday. Maybe they got a little rain over the weekend enough down by Frankfurt. Generally speaking, though, the same look. I see some mid-deck over here and lots of high clouds everywhere else. And the pictures look the same. The metropolis of Frankfurt off on the horizon. You can see the big courthouse building sticking out. No, you can't. But it was funny anyway. While it lasted, I'll probably tell that joke forever. And then here we are. They're doing some road work out on the highway out west of Logansport, it looks like today. And not much for clouds out there today either. In town, let's see what we got. We're looking pretty good. Hey, some of the sunshine on the west side of town up here near the Walmart. All right. Then we head out and we go over to, of course, the airport, which only points down at the ground. I would want to tell the people at the airport, well, actually, if you happen to be somebody who runs cameras in town that has control of these, think about the weatherman who wants to point out. You can still see the ground, still see the road, but at the airport where they take a good look at the sky all the time, let's point it towards the sky out there, all right? All right. Okay, so there we go. Nice sunny day there down on River Road where it crosses, where 52 comes through and 231 comes together. And then over by the mall, more of the same. I can see some sunshine on the ground, so looking a little bit better, at least on that front. Let's go back to our main page for today. 70 degrees. It says 77. We could scratch our way up to 80 today. There's enough cloud cover and it's thick enough. We may not make it. But just like the other day, let's see, yesterday, right? We only hit 80 because we were cloud cover. We never got the rain. But the clouds were a little thicker yesterday, I think, than they are now. Maybe it was kind of a mix, but it only got to 80. So 75 to 80. Today's your high, right, because of the clouds. Tomorrow it's trying to get warmer. I would bump this to 80 to 85 for tomorrow. Same for Wednesday and into Thursday and Friday. All these temperatures I would have 80 to 85 with the best chance being Friday of being warmer. Friday and Saturday, maybe 82 to 85, 86, depending on the rain, where the rain sets up and where it wants to go. All right. So that's your kind of daily look at these. That's why you can't trust a lot of these. Look, I'm the guy who's been doing this forever, and I'm bumping all the temperatures saying it's going to be warmer than these, right? Because it's easy to see. The computer's only going to take what it sees and what it kind of has an idea on. Luckily, they don't have AI working on the computer models now. It's all physics. What does physics say is going to happen here and there? But it doesn't take everything in as strongly as it should sometimes. So, for instance, cloud cover is one of those. It can kill your temperature pretty easily, or it can make it very warm very easily. So, and since we're moving into summer, that's what you're going to get this time of the year is a warm trend. That is for sure. One last look at the satellite and radar. There you go. You see the radar, all the rain moving off towards the northeast. If you're heading towards Fort Wayne today, you're going to get a little rain. If you're heading towards St. Louis, I think you're going to miss most of it if you're leaving now because it's going to be past, what is that, I-70 cutting across there. So you're gonna miss most of it if you're going that direction. And if you're heading south, you're good in through Indianapolis down to Louisville. Then you're going to run into this complex as it gets that way, 2.5, 3 hours from now. So if you're heading that direction, keep your eyes to the sky, so to speak. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Do I got anything else I want to show you today? I think that's it, guys. I think I'm going to get out of here. My throat is killing me a little bit. There we go. Let's go back over to me. Hello, everybody, all my peeps. I pushed the wrong button. I hope I didn't lose myself. There we go. Hello, everybody. It has been great talking with you. Hopefully your Monday will be a great one. Just a scattered shower, a very isolated chance this evening, maybe late this afternoon. Mostly clouds in and out, some sun for periods, some with not. And your temperature somewhere between 75 and 80 because of that cloud cover. Only a couple of us could hit 80 to 82. Most of us will be like 70, probably 77 to 80, most of us. All right, and then warming trend all week. The high takes over again. We get some more rain maybe during the weekend. That kind of changes things for a little bit, and then it looks like it wants to get steamy next week. We're right into summer by the middle of next week, and we could see our first 90-degree temperature June 12th, 11 days from now. Mark it on the calendar. Could be the first 90-degree day, but that has plenty of time to change. Could be earlier or later, but right now it looks like June 12th might be. And then it showed like 4 or 5 days there in a row where we were in the 90s. All right, and pop-up thunderstorms starting to show their head, which is typical for summer. And that will be getting closer and closer to the summer solstice, which is June 21st coming on soon. So it's been great talking to you guys again today. Let me go out real quick. Let me see if I can get my maps back up on here. There we go. I got him up here. Go back over to this, see if Ray's in there. Oh, there's Ray. Good. Bill's in there too. Good morning, Bill. It's pouring. He's down in Nashville. He's down there in Nashville. It's pouring on him. Ray's not getting any rain. We're not getting any rain up. Bill, you got to move up to Indiana. No rain. We're not getting anything up here. And then I've got Paul A. Perez, who I don't know who that is. He's speaking Spanish to me. He's talking about the hurricane season, and I think he's trying to draw you in to look at his weather forecast. All right. Either way, it's great that he stepped in for a little bit. Raul, we'll talk to you next time. I've seen Raul in here a couple times. Maybe I just got the names wrong and somebody else. But it does look like weather is moving forward as it always does. And it always will. You have a great day. It's been great talking to you. Blessings to each and every one of you. We will see you what time tomorrow? 9 o'clock. You got it. See ya.